Here are the top 10 underperforming players this season. Number 10. Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez joined Chelsea last January for a huge fee of more than £100 million as one of Todd Barley's key signings. It might not be fair to evaluate the midfielder solely based on goals, but he has created many scoring opportunities, even though he scored fewer goals than expected by around -2.9. The Argentinian who won the World Cup has finally scored his first goals for Chelsea in the Premier League this season, totaling 2 goals so far. His performance has been dreadful, and him paired with Caicedo was supposed to be the best Premier League midfield partners. There are some glimpses of light at the end of the tunnel, but it is up to Pochettino to try and bring them back. But so far, he deserves to be on this list. Number 9. Nicholas Jackson. The Chelsea forward has scored 10 goals in the Premier League this season, which is pretty decent for his first year at Stamford Bridge. However, Jackson has become a bit of a joke to some people because he's missed some big chances lately, and the stats show that he's not finishing as well as he should be, falling short of his expected goals by 3.6.
Shoved it a little. Goodrick's corner and Jackson's miss.
Only 3 players in the Premier League, Erling Haaland, Mohamed Salah, and Dominic Solanke, have had higher expected goals than Jackson, which shows he's getting into good scoring positions. Number 8. Darwin Núñez. You would have expected to see Núñez's name in this top 10 list for sure. During his first season with Liverpool, Núñez became known for missing some important chances. Although he's gotten better and become a key player for Jurgen Klopp's team, missing opportunities is still a big part of his game. He's taken 58 shots with 24 on target, but only managed to score 5 goals from an expected 8.6 goals. He's missed 18 big chances overall. Number 7. Caicedo. Caicedo made a big move to Chelsea from Brighton in the summer, costing a whopping £115 million. He turned down Liverpool to join the Blues. Despite playing 26 games for Chelsea, the 22-year-old hasn't been able to perform like he did at Brighton, where he was one of the most expensive players in Premier League history. He's often played alongside Enzo Fernandez, who Chelsea bought from Benfica for £107 million last season. This season has been tough for Chelsea. Pundit Ali McCoist named Caicedo as the flop of the season so far, ahead of Manchester United's goalkeeper Andre Onana. McCoist said Caicedo and Fernandez haven't played well together. Number 6. Iago Aspas. Iago Aspas has been pretty steady during his time at Celta Vigo, except for a not-so-great stint at Liverpool in between. Since coming back in 2015, he's scored at least 10 goals every season. However, the current season, 2023-24, has been a bit strange and frustrating for him. Even though the 36-year-old hasn't been as accurate with his finishing this season, managing only 3 goals from an expected 6.7 goals, he's still a key playmaker for Rafael Benitez's struggling Celta team. In fact, he's one of the top creators in Europe's major leagues, with only Isco making more key passes. Number 5. Robert Lewandowski. Barcelona's attempt to defend their title isn't going as planned, and neither is Lewandowski's season. Lewandowski has been a consistent scorer in European football for more than 10 years, but this season, things aren't quite right. Last season, he was La Liga's top scorer with 23 goals. However, this season, Lewandowski's accuracy seems off. He's taken 57 shots, but only 36% of them, 21, have been on target. He's only scored 8 goals, despite having an expected goal rate of 11.8. Despite this, only 6 players in Europe's major leagues have had a higher expected goal rate, showing that Lewandowski is still getting into good scoring positions. Number 4. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Among all players in Europe's top 5 leagues, the Everton striker has the highest underperformance in expected goals, or XG, this season. Calvert-Lewin has scored 3 Premier League goals from 34 shots, with 15 of them on target. His expected goals, or XG, tally stands at 7.6. This isn't great news for Everton, especially since they're already dealing with a -10-point penalty, and there might be more trouble on the horizon. Number 3. Antony. Since Sir Alex Ferguson's time, Manchester United has struggled with their recruitment decisions, particularly in the wide attacking positions. Players like Angel Di Maria, Memphis Depay, and Alexis Sanchez failed to live up to their hefty price tags, resulting in significant financial losses for the club. While previous signings at least had some rationale behind them, Antony's arrival at Old Trafford didn't fit that pattern. The Brazilian came from Ajax for just £13 million in 2020 after impressing in the Eredivisie. Despite his promising start in Manchester, scoring in his first 3 Premier League games, Antony's weaknesses soon became evident. His first season yielded only 8 goals, and this term he's yet to score or provide an assist in 9 appearances. There's been little improvement in his game, and United often lack threat when he's on the right flank. It's becoming clear that Antony may not have what it takes to succeed at a club like United. Though he's contracted until 2027, it would be wise for United to sell Antony sooner rather than later, as his value continues to decline. Number 2. Mark Flekken. Brentford tried to be proactive by signing Mark Flekken before David Raya left for Arsenal. Flekken did well at Freiburg, helping them reach Europe, but he hasn't been as good in West London. With last season's top scorer, Ivan Toney, suspended, it was expected that Brentford would face more pressure in defence. Getting only 1 clean sheet wasn't great, and there were shaky moments even before conceding against Nottingham Forest, which led to criticism of Flekken. Flekken was absent from the game against Manchester United due to illness, and Thomas Strakosha stepped in, almost helping Brentford secure a win before 2 late United goals. It's uncertain who will be chosen by Thomas Frank next time. Number 1. Youri Tielemans. Just over a year ago, people were talking about Youri Tielemans possibly joining Arsenal, maybe even as a regular starter. Now, he's patiently waiting for his chance at Aston Villa. Last season at Leicester, Tielemans wasn't at his best, and the team suffered because of it. Some thought Villa might be a better fit for him, but he's mostly been on the sidelines since joining. Tielemans admitted in September that the situation isn't great. He wants to play, but the manager prefers the midfielders who were already at Villa last season. However, he's hopeful that he'll get more opportunities to show what he can do in the future. It's still hard to say with the season not over yet, but there are many disappointing players this season. Mason Mount is one of them, but given that he was injured, we won't add him on this list. Former United striker Louis Saha shared his thoughts on Mason Mount's performance, suggesting that the fee paid for him was too much. He also remarked that Mount hasn't been very visible on the field, especially in the recent game against Brentford. Saha even went as far as saying that he's seen Casemiro, a defensive midfielder, play more offensively than Mount, which he found surprising. Mount's slow start at Manchester United might be partly due to the injury he suffered early on. It might take him some time to find his rhythm, but so far, he hasn't quite hit his stride. We can also mention Andre Onana. Stats-wise, he is one of the overperforming goalkeepers this season, but something just doesn't click. It's like he's cursed and makes some horrible mistakes. But let's not forget, he faces the most shots from all goalkeepers in the league. Replacing David De Gea was always going to be tough for Manchester United, especially with the defensive injuries they've had. Andre Onana, his successor, has had an even bigger challenge. There have been some shaky moments for Onana, with critics pointing to a pre-season game where he was lobbed from far out. This might have made him more cautious in his positioning and passing decisions. Some question marks have been raised about goals conceded by United under Onana's watch. The real test will be when United's defense is fully fit and if Onana can maintain his performance level. Another player close to making this list was Tom Davies. Sheffield United's summer signings came under scrutiny, especially since Ndiaye and Berger, who did well in the lower division, were let go. With the team struggling, the spotlight was on their new players, and Davies, who joined late, hasn't made much of an impact yet. To be fair, Davies came for free from Everton, where he hadn't played since January. It can take time to get match fit, but it seems like it's taking Davies longer than usual. He's only played for less than 90 minutes in 3 games as a substitute. In those games, Sheffield United conceded 5 goals and didn't score any. Now he's facing months on the sidelines due to injury, according to manager Paul. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below.